Okay, so good morning, right? Or afternoon, or whatever you want to call it. So last week we spoke about that whole thing of, like tire flipping and just what it means, in terms of people inviting you or people challenging you to try new things and do new things, right? So just a follow up to that. Let's call it that. Let's call it a follow up. So I mean, I still haven't been tire flipping, but I have opened myself up to some new experiences, and some new journeys. And one of those included something, that was athletic or that required exercise. Needless to say, when I woke up the next morning, my entire body was in pain, like physical pain. Okay. Like I'm still recovering. Guys, I have found videos on YouTube to try and help me stretch and, all these strange things. And that's exactly what happens. It's somebody challenges us to do something and we go and we do it. And sometimes it's in the moment, but sometimes it's afterwards where we just get this sense of, just things become so uncomfortable for us, or in the moment we find that we're having to stretch our boundaries or push ourselves so much more than we normally do. To the point that, at the end of it, we feel like we actually need a cooling down session or a stretching session. And after that, you're still in pain, like it's easy for me to talk like this now. But if you ask me to lift my arms and stuff, then I'm just like, is this normal? Like my muscles should not be going through all of this. So that was the one thing. The second thing, I'm going to talk about three things. The second thing was just around the technique, So this thing that I was now challenged to do, that I did go and do with D'Angelo, there's actually a technique and to doing it, or a way of doing it. And part of the reason why that technique is so important is that it actually protects us, or it helps us do it better, which is another thing that I want to translate, because it is genuinely the truth. Like, my mind is blown, guys. I can't believe that exercise is teaching me so much. Like, really, I can't. Because it's just, it's this thing, It is actually this thing that if you take time to understand the technique or to learn the technique, or somebody takes time to show you the technique, then what you are doing can actually become so much easier, Maybe you don't get hit in the face as hard, or maybe you don't get thrown to the ground as hard, It's there's value to understanding the technique, or the reasons why people say you should maybe do something in a particular way, or follow a particular pattern, or so many things come up now. I'm just thinking, like some people will read the Bible topically, so they say, okay, well, yes, we know that maybe what you've been challenged to is to read the Bible. And this is coming to mind because of this quote I heard. This quote, guys, it broke me, but I'll share with you now. Anyway, so now somebody's challenging you to read the Bible to increase your word intake. And for you, some people read it as a storyline, which is like me. Some people read it as like an action movie. Some people read it topically. Some people go into the debate of New Testament, Old Testament. God, Old Testament. So there's different ways in which we can approach certain things that just make it that much more exciting, or that much easier for us to actually get through those tasks, or however you want to put it. So first thing, is just the area of being uncomfortable, having to stretch yourself sometimes to do it, or sometimes saying yes when you actually want to say no. Second thing is just the value that technique or patterns or other people's experiences can actually have on yours. And lastly, okay, is this notion that now my body is actually in pain, and the only way to actually really get over it is to do it again, right? Because if I do it again and I keep doing it, let's say I do it every single day for the next week or the next 2 weeks, okay, in 2 weeks, my body will not be in as much pain as it is right now. My body will get used to it. My body will adapt, and, and maybe even, I don't know, I can maybe even grow some muscle somewhere, or, But just this notion of, okay, well, you know, you've done it once. Yes, there was some there was some moments of uncomfortability. I don't even know if that's a word, but that's the word that I'm using. You know, there were some things that I maybe didn't like or would have preferred different. But the only way for me to actually deal with the way my body and my life is responding to my current state is to do it again, and to do it again after that, and to do it again after that, and to do it again after that. And this is really seen from both sides, because from the one side, the person who originally invited you and originally challenged you, you know, please keep on encouraging us, guys. You can't just post on my wall, hey, Katie, go exercise. And then, like, that must be the end, you know, like, help me out a little bit. I remember a couple of years ago, my best friend and I, even with the guys, like, we did this whole thing of, okay, well, you know, I did one day and I was like, I'm out. You know, every morning at 5 o'clock, they would call each other to make sure the other person is awake so that we could all go to gym. You know, and we had to do that for a bit until everybody kind of got into the rhythm of waking up to go to the gym at 5 o'clock. You know, eventually you would only call each other at 5:30 when we know we're all at gym, just to make sure that, okay, everybody's at gym. You know, so like it's that. So that's the one side, is please keep encouraging us. Like, it doesn't have to be every second of every day. It doesn't have to be every day, but just every now and then, you know, like pop a message and be like, hey, how's it going? You know, are you surviving? Are you making it? And then on the other side, those of us that are being encouraged, you know, there's so much to say there, but what I will zoom in on is at some point you have to take ownership of it as well and say, okay, you know what? Yes, I was initially doing this because I wanted to spend time with her, or, you know, just because it was something that I thought about doing a long time ago, and now is actually the time to do it. But at some point you have to take ownership and be like, okay, you know, this is actually my journey. And as much as I appreciate the cheerleaders that I have along the way, you know, the responsibility is mine. And this is something that I have to do. And then you keep on going. You know, and the reality is that only you can make the decision to actually keep on going. You are the only person that can actually then say the next day that, okay, you know what, this was painful and my body is sore, but I'm going to do it again today. Or maybe, you know, if you were reading the Bible and, you know, you tried reading the Bible yesterday and you fell asleep, it doesn't mean today you don't read the Bible because, oh, now you feel bad. Why are you falling asleep while you're reading the Bible? You know, we've all fallen asleep while reading the Bible, guys. Let's just be real, okay? But it's a thing of saying, okay, well then, you know, let me read again and let me keep reading. Maybe yesterday you tried to read for an hour, you know, maybe just start and say, okay, well, you know, if I can read one chapter a day and make sure that I actually get through that chapter, understand that chapter. Look, some chapters are really long, you know, and some are really short, but it doesn't take away from the value of, like, constantly feeding your spirit, you know, from constantly feeling whatever journey it is that you might find yourself on. So yeah, so those are the three things that I have taken, and I will end with this, right? Yes, it's great to be encouraged, and yes, it's great to try new things and let other people encourage you, but the possibility is really also there that you go and you try something, and at the end of it, you decide that this is not for me. And that is okay. It has to be okay. You know, it has to be okay. The only thing there is I would really just say, okay, well, just, you know, make sure that when you're saying, no, this is not for me, or this is not something that I want to try, make sure you are actually doing it for the right reasons. Have a conversation with yourself about the real reasons why you are saying no. Because a lot of times we just don't want to put in the work. You know, we want to get the result, but we're not really ready to put in the work. And when you have a cheerleader, it's a great way to kind of initiate some type of behavior or behavior change in your life. You can try it alone, you know, and you could probably even succeed trying it alone. But life is just so much better with other people. It's so much better walking with others and talking with others and enjoying experiences together. So where I am, you know, in as much pain as I could be, I'm sure Dickens also has some elements of pain in, well, I hope she does. Well, no, I can't say that. But yeah, life is just so much better when you do it with other people. So thank you for listening. And yeah, that is me for this week. I'm really going to try, guys. My challenge is really just to be consistent, because I really do. Like, I would love to release a video every Wednesday. So those of you that can, you know, keep me to it. And those of you that can't, it's okay, but I will try my best. And I really hope these videos do mean or do challenge you in some way to do something. And if they do, let me know, because that's also quite cool. A few people have, and you know, they're still on their journeys. Some people have decided after the first time that no, they don't want to, which is also okay. Which really is also okay. So yeah, so that is my follow-up to being invited to flip tires. Okay, have a good week, guys. Cheers.